We are continuing to learn more about I was going to say the investigation, but the multiple investigations into Republican Congressman Matt Gaetz. And it is every day becoming clearer and clearer how serious this is. We learned today that Matt Gaetz's iPhone has been seized by federal agents, but not recently. It actually was seized some time ago. This has been going on for a while. This is very, very serious. The Huffington Post reporting new reports on the federal sex trafficking investigation into Congressman Matt Gaetz, Republican of Florida, have revealed more details about the extent of the probe, including the seizure of his iPhone by federal agents over the winter and an associate's cooperation against him since last year. Gaetz' cell phone was seized when federal agents executed a search warrant, citing interviews with three people who were told of the matter by the congressman. Politico was able to report this. The congressman changed his number late last year. His former girlfriend's phone was also reportedly seized. In another development indicating Gaetz' intensifying predicament, Gaetz' associate Joel Greenberg has reportedly been providing information since last year to investigators, according to the New York Times. So that's another piece where we learned, I guess it was late last week, that Joel Greenberg was now working with investigators. The New York Times has now learned that Joel Greenberg has actually been working with investigators for some time. Joel Greenberg's lawyer was asked last week, did your client, Joel Greenberg, introduce Matt Gaetz to underage girls? And there was not a no from Joel Greenberg's attorney, although he didn't answer much one way or the other. Greenberg has said to investigators he and Gaetz had sexual encounters with women in exchange for cash and gifts. The investigation, of course, is now becoming increasingly public, but it has been taking place for some time. The Justice Department is also said to be investigating Greenberg's and Gaetz's involvement with multiple women who were recruited online for sex in exchange for cash payments. As a reminder, the Huffington Post article notes it was previously reported Greenberg was likely on the verge of cooperating with prosecutors. At this point in time, it is abundantly clear. There is also a CNN report about the details of these anything involving Gaetz. I call it strange because Gaetz is involved. But without going into too many details that are maybe not relevant from the standpoint of politics, partygoers and attendees at some of these strange events have talked about how they would often show up at an event with Matt Gaetz, and there would be cocaine and ecstasy and sex and all sorts of different things. And of course, none of these things individually are really the issue. The bigger picture here is the idea that there was some kind of cash for sex prosecution across state lines, including with minors. That's really where the bulk of this issue is. We don't even really know at this point all of the other possible crimes that may be part of this, but the investigation is ongoing and it's not looking particularly good for Matt Gaetz. Now, it was reported late last week that Matt Gaetz had hired one of Donald Trump's various attorneys to represent him. I don't know that a Trump attorney is really going to cut it, given the depth of what Matt Gaetz appears to be involved in here. Matt Gaetz' approach, basically for the 2 weeks since this broke, has been to minimize the seriousness of the investigation and to suggest that the investigation is merely politically motivated and nothing else. At this point, the investigations are so wide-ranging, they've been going on for so long, and they involve so many different people that it would be a very silly way to carry out a political hit job against Matt Gaetz. You wouldn't do it this way. You wouldn't do it in a way where there's so much involving other people, other already plea deals that, for example, Joel Greenberg already accepting a plea deal is just not the way that it would work. This also, I think it's important to mention, sheds new light onto the pardon that Matt Gaetz supposedly asked Donald Trump for. Now, I told you last week that Donald Trump has denied having been asked for a pardon by Matt Gaetz, although the sourcing on the stories claiming Gaetz asked for the pardon are very good. My best explanation for how this could all be true, as I mentioned earlier this week, is that Matt Gaetz has one of his associates sort of feel out a pardon with people around Donald Trump. The people around Trump could easily say Gaetz is not getting a pardon. It never actually gets to Trump. It never actually gets to the point of Donald Trump saying no. It's merely made clear between staffers that it's not going to happen. Seems a completely plausible way in which basically all of the reporting is true, at least in some way. A very possible outcome here. We're all talking about, will Gaetz resign? Will he be arrested? Will he be charged? Is Gaetz going to go to prison? With a lot of these guys, and it is guys that it happens with, a possible outcome is Gaetz has some kind of come to Jesus moment. He resigns, or maybe not, but he says he's entering some kind of program, 12-step, who knows, Sex Addicts Anonymous, Alcoholics Anonymous. He's going to work on himself. Maybe he doesn't even resign, but maybe he does. And then he comes back and says he found Jesus and he's been saved and all of this stuff. It seems completely plausible to me that that's the direction it could go. Of course, everyone is innocent until proven guilty. Matt Gaetz hasn't even been charged at this point, and I have no, I'll get emails saying, David, how dare you say Gaetz should go to prison? I haven't said that once. The first step would be, let's see if Gaetz is charged. Hasn't happened yet. If he is, then we will go to the next step. One of our sponsors is Vincero Watches, giving you 15% off. A high-quality wristwatch is the perfect way to elevate your style. Own at least one watch that makes you feel great when you put it on. You can often see me wearing my Vincero watch on the show. Mine is the gunmetal vessel model. I'm a big fan of the metallic look of the face of the watch. I like the silicone strap. You won't find a better made watch for this good a price anywhere else. When you put it on, you know you got more than you paid for. Vincero believes in crafting super quality watches from high-end materials, but selling them at fair prices, which is why they have over 26,000 five-star reviews, and they stand behind every watch they make with a 1-year return policy and 5-year warranty. They'll give you 15% off everything in their store and free shipping at davidpakman.com/watch. Use the coupon code PAKMAN